In today's video, I'm going to be reacting to Brandon Harding's recent hair transplant, whether he did well with his clinic choice, but also was he a really good candidate for the surgery, considering he was only 25 and he also is using anabolic steroids, things that he admitted in some of his videos. We'll be talking about that as well, so make sure you stay tuned. And as always, before we start, shout out to our sponsor, GoFiber. These are hair building fibers you can use to mask any thinning or patchy areas on your scalp to make your hair look thicker and better. So make sure you check out the link in the video description below where you can visit GoFiber, get a free sample of your choice and try them out. See if you like them. This is not a bad hair loss to have with 25, considering you have been using some stuff and you have not been on any hair loss prevention. So this is 2020 on the left and 2022 on the right. Obviously the hairline is not as strong anymore. It's not as defined as in this picture. You know, it doesn't look like that Norwood 1 anymore. It's already looking more like Norwood 2 on some videos straight after his contest. For example, it's looking more like Norwood 2 to Norwood 3, almost like the transition already. And that's because he's like completely depleted in terms of calories, have been on a very caloric restricted diet for many weeks prep to the contest, and that's when your hair falls out even more because the only protein, or pretty much the whole protein that you ingest in your body, goes to your muscles, and you know the hair is not like a big priority here. Plus you add a lot of stuff, steroids that are meant to give you that dry look on your muscles, just skin, bones and muscle, and then also juice up your muscles. So these are very strong anabolic and androgenic substances. I don't need to mention, many of you guys know which ones bodybuilders like to use before the contest, and that's the time where the miniaturization can be speeded up, the hair loss can be speeded up. So that's why his hair, you will notice, that looks worst during or close to the contest. Right now it's looking already better.
Forgotten until this pops up, and yeah, but I hope this video can act as some sort of insight or confidence or the next step in your journey.
So he's saying in this video also that he has not been using any medication, any hair loss prevention prior to this point, and he actually decides to kind of research and find a medication for him. Now this is an important step for anybody who's interested in a hair transplant. Step number one, you need to freeze your hair loss as soon as possible. You need to know that you have something you can rely on, like a treatment that can keep your hair as long as possible. Then you can get a hair transplant with much more safety, I would say. If you get a transplant without being on treatment, you are risking a lot. You can trigger cascade of problems after doing this way. I don't advise it, but you can do it if you don't want to take any treatments. Now, Brandon is doing it the right way, at least it seems like that, because he's researching a treatment. He's probably going to get on a treatment, and then he wants to get a hair transplant. This is how you maximize your hair transplant success. Obviously, after that, you also need to do a proper work on like eliminating bad clinics, you know, responsible for failed results, disaster results, unnatural hairlines, over harvesting your donor area, and all that stuff that I'm discussing on this channel as well. And then you definitely get the best result. And then also you need to still know how to retain that head of hair for long term. But it seems like he's at least starting the right way. So let's find out.
Is a place called Hims. Originally I googled Keeps, which I think is an American service. I've seen it on many YouTube videos. They do a topical service and a pill form, essentially provide finasteride pills. The only trouble is finasteride can provide a lot of side effects if ingested orally. It goes through the system, can change, like it can mess up your hormonal balance. One of the main things that it can cause in men is basically depression. When a male starts losing his hair a little bit, it already can make a male and even a female depressed. So that is the last thing you want. Again, like I said, finasteride can give you side effects, but I'm hoping that basically putting it on my head and not in my mouth, it's not going to be as bad. This is actually going to be arriving on Monday. So
now the problem with Hims I am seeing, and I don't think they have corrected that problem, is that if you order a topical solution, and I just did a random order from them, and I was like, I'm interested in topical treatments like finasteride and minoxidil. So they give you a blend of 6% minoxidil, but also finasteride topical. Now the problem with the topical, as you can already see here, it's 0.3% topical, meaning it's an equivalent of 3 milligram of finasteride per 1 milliliter. And Brandon is deciding to kind of get on that treatment because he thinks it's not going going to go into the system. It's just going to be absorbed in the scalp, and it's going to just work in the scalp. Now, this already has been shown in studies that that's not true. We have a study from 2021 on topical finasteride where they compared 0.25% topical finasteride, which is slightly lower concentration compared to what Hims is actually compounding with that minoxidil additional. And it definitely has the power to decrease your not only scalp DHT, but also serum DHT levels. Now, I don't know the exact digit, but it's 70 to 80%, depends on whether you're dosing it once a day or twice a day. So that's at least 70% DHT suppression in the serum, comparable with Propecia tablets. So you are much better off taking finasteride orally here. You're not doing anything good, guys. That's the bottom line here. If you are trying to minimize your side effects and then you take 0.3% like Hims is kind of promoting here, you're not doing anything to minimize side effects. You're pretty much using effective version of finasteride here, like for sure, but you are not minimizing side effects. Just be aware of that, okay?
But I have been using this twice a day now for about 3 or 4 days, and already the hair kind of seems a little bit stronger. If you want to know what's essentially happening, you can watch the previous video. I'll pop it up right here, so you can just be updated on what essentially I am doing with this stuff. But so far, so good. Very happy with the way things are going.
That was 8 months ago. That was beginning 2022, all these videos. And since then, I was searching for any other update on his channel that would be related to hair and any updates with his treatment, like how he's doing on the Hims treatment. So again, I don't know, or we don't know how well he's been doing on the Hims treatment, whether it's been working for him or not. I'm not seeing a lot of change. Definitely, I'm not seeing any further recession, which is good, but I'm not seeing like drastic improvement in the condition of his hair. I'm not seeing improvements in the density of his hair. So it seems like the treatment just at best seemed to have stabilized his hair loss. So let's see what this hair transplant day will be all about. Okay, so he's visiting the clinic. This is the KSL clinic in the UK. All of my subscribers from UK, you are probably very, very familiar with this clinic. I actually have already responded to another celebrity, YouTube celebrity, TGF Bro, aka Jay Swingler from the UK, who went to this clinic like 2 years ago. And I do suggest you guys to watch this video if you are interested in my insights into that KSL clinic. I don't want to talk a lot about this clinic in this video, but check out this video that I've already done. And from like minute 17, 18 of the video on Jay Swingler, I was more like talking about the clinic and the good and bad things. There are also some interesting comments from guys who already got in touch with that clinic in the past and their kind of feedback on it. So yeah, check it out and read the comments as well. And if you need any help with the clinic choice, let me know. Check out the link in the video description below where you can learn more about my one-on-one consulting services.
Consent form right here, gotta sign this, gotta sign my life away. And this, of course, I've actually never had.
Have you thought about shape?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, very, very natural. I'm not gonna go anywhere on the front and round it off essentially, but keep
You're my perfect patient. Superb, and that's exactly the way to approach this. This hairline will look astonishing in a year.
Astonishing. We'll see in a year, my friend.
To the hairline a bit because it's slightly thinner on.
Alright guys, just give a bit of context to what's actually happening.
On this side we've got in slightly thinner on.
Alright guys, just give a bit of context to what's actually happening right now. The doctor is drawing on my hairline to the way he thinks it would look the best, matching in to like where my hair meets in the middle to where it grows from the side and stuff, like rounding it off quite nicely. Personally, I think he went a little bit lower than I would have liked because my main goal with this hair transplant surgery is to just look as natural as humanly possible. So I didn't want it to be that noticeable, and it wasn't a straight line, but it was a little bit lower than I wanted. So
again, man, if it's lower and the doctor tells you to go lower and you want to go higher, you can do anything possible to stop him. I mean, that's your hairline, that you will be living with that hairline. So if you think the higher is better, the doctor needs to obey here.
I'm quite an artistic person. I know this is going to be something that lasts forever. I just literally lifted his line up ever so slightly, and then after I drew it on, we looked in the mirror, we assessed it. This took about 10 minutes, and then when I was happy with what I drew on my head, he proceeded to clean it up a little bit.
Oftentimes guys try to actually push their hairline too low, and then the doctors need to correct them like, hey, no, we cannot do it super low because you're too young. Your hair loss is not, doesn't seem to be that stable, and your donor hair is not that rich, so we will make it higher, okay? But it actually rarely happens that the doctor makes it lower and the patient actually wants to have it higher.
Straighten it up, make sure it's completely even, and then when we had the hairline, we were
See, that's,
Wow.
can you see?
Yeah.
You need to let me know even if there's a little bit of stinging. Any pain?
No,
What about here?
nothing at all.
He's got really good grass.
Alright guys, so we made it to the final part of the procedure. They're grabbing my hair follicles and shoving them into the holes that were previously punched individually, like thousands of times, and it's just so strange how I couldn't feel a single thing, and it's so interesting.
Okay, there's one thing which I'm noticing here. Usually it's not a good sign, but we'll see after 12 months. You can see here on the right how the technician, probably, I assume, is holding that graft within the both forks of the forceps, and he's kind of trying to push it inside of the recipient side and kind of manipulates the graft like 5 or 6 times. Look at that, until the graft is inside. I'm definitely seeing some things here that are actually looking similar to the one from Swingler, who also went to the same clinic like 2 years ago, and he also got pretty much the same thing done, probably a little bit more grafts with some more lowering on the front. My estimation was from like 1800 to 2200 grafts. I think Brandon got something similar too. If you look at his recipient area again, I think it was probably around 1800-ish, maybe 1500. Now, if we have a look at the results of Swingler, who went to KSL 2 years ago, we noticed that by a longer buzz cut, it actually looks like the hair is still there. I think there is, however, a little bit of gap behind the hairline that is already kind of signaling that he's probably losing hair a little bit in that transplanted and native hair zone. We can also see it very well here when he kind of really busts that hair short, and for a split second he kind of showed us his head. Again, I'm going to stop it here, and you can notice how that hairline is kind of defined, but behind it, it's looking lighter, it's looking whiter, and that could be a sign that these grafts did not in fact grow well in these zones. They dense back the hairline enough, or it could have been denser obviously, but there is some light going on there. Plus, you should never ideally buzz your transplanted hair so short as here, because it's never gonna look its best. It's never meant to be buzzed so short because it's just not gonna look so optimal. This is already a little bit better. This type of hair length is a little bit better, ideally even longer than that. Now, I don't think that KSL is the best clinic you can choose for like bigger surgeries of like 2500 grafts and more. I have not seen them and their results looking optimal for bigger sessions, mega sessions. Most of the times they're just doing little touches like Norwood 2s, 2.5s, somebody like Brandon Harding, somebody like Swingler. Fairly okay looking for the price that you pay there, probably, and you're staying in the UK, you don't need to travel to Turkey or anywhere else, even though there are better options out there, but you have that comfort of your home. But again, not the best clinic I would go to myself. It's possible, obviously, to have it done there, but again, better options out there. So we will see how all of that will turn out with Brandon Harding within 6-12 months from now. I'm gonna hopefully post another update. Hopefully he's gonna provide us with some good pictures and detail, like showing his hair situation in detail 6 months, 10 months after his hair transplant, hopefully. If not, I'm gonna try to just have a look at his recent videos and photos on Instagram and give you my feedback. That was pretty much it from me, guys. For all of you guys who are interested in maximizing your hair transplant success, doing anything humanly possible to stop your hair loss as soon as possible, even for all of you guys who have tried every product before and it didn't work, let me help you one-on-one. I'm gonna have a look at your situation, analyze, and give you the best possible suggestions for freezing your hair loss as soon as possible, helping you implement my hair clinic elimination method that will help you filter out the good clinics from bad ones and avoid you a failed result with your hair transplant. And on top of that, I'm gonna be also guiding you and supporting you throughout the process of retaining your hair that you have gained with a treatment or hair transplant so we can maintain it for as long as possible in the future. So if you're interested, again, check out the link in the video description below where you can learn more about my consulting services, and I'm going to be happy to help you out one-on-one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to be seeing you soon in another video. Take care.